The Uncanny Archives, Volume 12, The White Horizon. Intro. The Final Boundary. We think we've explored the world. We've mapped the continents, touched the moon, and sent probes into the heart of the sun. But there is one place we still don't understand. The deep ocean, a place of crushing pressure and eternal dark. We call it the abyss. We think it's just water and rock. But what if the ocean isn't a part of our world? What if it's a border, a massive fluid wall designed to keep us in, or to keep something else out? This is the mission log of Elias Thorne. Elias was a lead pilot for the Hesperus, a cutting-edge deep-sea research vessel. Their mission was simple: reach the true bottom of the Mariana Trench. They didn't find the bottom. They found the end of the world. Act 1. The Stroke of the Knocker. The Hesperus was a miracle of engineering, a titanium sphere designed to withstand the weight of a mountain. Elias sat in the cockpit, surrounded by glowing monitors. Outside, the world was a void of black ink. At 10,000 meters, the sensors started to glitch. The sonar didn't return a reading for a jagged seabed. It returned a flat, horizontal line. "Check the depth finder," Elias muttered to his co-pilot, Sarah. "It says we're hitting something, but there's nothing on the cameras." Suddenly, a sound echoed through the hull. Clang, clang, clang. 3 rhythmic, heavy, metallic strikes, as if someone was standing on the outside of the sphere, knocking to be let in. "There's no life at this depth," Sarah whispered, her face pale in the screen glow. "The pressure would liquefy anything with a nervous system." Elias turned on the high-intensity floodlights. The light pierced the darkness, hitting something 10 meters away. It wasn't rock. It wasn't coral. It was a wall. A vast, perfectly smooth surface of brilliant, ivory-white material. It stretched up and down, left and right, as far as the lights could reach. It looked like bone, but it was harder than any steel they had ever tested. Act 2. The Inscription. Elias maneuvered the Hesperus closer. The wall didn't have a single crack, no barnacles, no silt. As they moved along its surface, Elias saw something that made his heart stop. In the center of the white expanse there were markings, not natural grooves. Letters. They were carved deep into the white material, written in a language that looked ancient yet terrifyingly modern. "Can you translate that?" Elias asked. Sarah zoomed the camera in. Her voice trembled as she read, "Not a habitat. Do not tap on the glass." Elias felt a wave of cold nausea. "Glass?" he whispered. "We're 11 kilometers deep. This isn't glass." He extended the robotic arm of the sub, intending to take a fragment. The diamond-tipped drill touched the surface. The moment the drill made contact, the wall didn't break. It pulsed. A blinding flash of blue light filled the cockpit, and Elias felt a jolt of electricity shoot through his brain. His eyes rolled back. He wasn't in the sub anymore. Act 3. The View from Above. Elias saw a vision. He wasn't in the ocean. He was looking down at a small, glowing sphere of blue and green. It was Earth, but it wasn't a planet floating in space. The Earth was sitting in a massive, circular basin filled with dark, murky fluid. The stars in the sky were just glowing bacterial colonies on the ceiling of a colossal laboratory. Around the basin stood figures. They were vast, their faces hidden behind masks made of shifting geometry. One of the figures leaned in. Its eye, a massive, swirling nebula of gold and black, looked directly at the earth. It reached out a finger the size of a continent, and tapped the side of the basin. Clang, clang, clang. The sound that had echoed through the hull of the Hesperus. It wasn't a knock. It was a vibration from a world so much larger than theirs that they couldn't even perceive it. The ocean isn't water, Elias realized in the vision. It's the containment fluid. We're a petri dish. We're a culture being grown in a cellar. Act 4. The Rupture. Elias snapped back to consciousness. The Hesperus was spinning. Alarms were screaming. The wall was changing. Where the drill had touched it, a hairline fracture had appeared. The crack began to spread, faster and faster. White fluid, thicker than water, started to bleed from the rupture. "Elias, the pressure! It's changing!" Sarah screamed. But the pressure wasn't increasing. It was dropping. The ocean was draining. The vast, billions of tons of water were being sucked into the crack in the white wall. Elias watched as giant squids, whales, and deep-sea creatures were pulled helplessly into the void beyond the boundary. The Hesperus was caught in the current. They were pulled through the crack. For a moment there was a sensation of falling. Then the darkness vanished. Act 5. The Second Light. The sub crashed onto a hard metallic surface. Elias opened his eyes. The cameras were still working. They weren't underwater anymore. They were in a dry, sterile environment that smelled of ozone and bleach. Outside the porthole, Elias didn't see the ocean floor. He saw a floor made of white tile that stretched for miles. And then he saw the sea. Looking back, he saw a massive, transparent sphere, miles wide, held up by giant metal struts. Inside the sphere was the water. Inside the water was the earth. It looked like a discarded toy, a science project left on a shelf. A shadow fell over the sub. A massive hand, white and smooth, reached down toward the Hesperus. It picked up the titanium sphere like it was a marble. Elias saw a face so large it filled the entire horizon. It looked down at them with a mixture of curiosity and disappointment. A voice boomed, vibrating through Elias's very DNA. "The specimen has breached the barrier. Level 4 contamination detected. Initiate sterilization protocol." The last thing Elias saw was a bright white light descending from above. And then the silence returned.